What famous person didn't deserve all the hate that they got? Macaulay Culkin. For Redditors old enough to remember, the young Home Alone star got a bunch of hate for being a spoiled brat when he sued to divorce his parents. Truth of the matter is his father was a physically abusive asshole, and his parents were going to take the $15 to $20 million he earned from acting and leave Macaulay with nothing. Once Macaulay took control of that money, he bought a home for his mom and siblings, and paid for his siblings' schooling. Dude was a class act. Glad to hear he has a wife and kid, I think, and seems to be happy. Salieri. Pretty chill dude. Mozart's biggest supporter. Lent him his librettista so he could write Figaro. Took care of Mozart's kid after he passed away. That's a damn good movie, though. But it also does him dirty as well. F. Murray Abraham fucking killed it though. Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis. He was a Hungarian physician and scientist, described as the savior of mothers. He proposed the practice of washing hands with chlorinated lime solutions in 1847 while working in Vienna General Hospital's first obstetrical clinic, where doctors' wards had 3 times the mortality of midwives' wards. Some doctors were offended at the suggestion that they should wash their hands and mocked him for it. In 1865, he allegedly suffered a nervous breakdown and was committed to an asylum by his colleagues. In the asylum, he was beaten by the guards. He died 14 days later from a gangrenous wound on his right hand that may have been caused by the beating. His findings earned widespread acceptance only years after his death, when Louis Pasteur confirmed the germ theory. That was a sad case. He couldn't really prove the germs actually existed, but he had statistics to prove that mothers who gave birth with doctor who had washed their hands had a significantly higher chance of surviving, and the doctors were all so arrogant that they never even considered that his conclusion was right, but that maybe he got the details wrong, which he didn't. He got them right, but this would have been a reasonable way to be skeptical of his claims at the time. IMO. Close. Semmelweis noticed that there was a far greater rate of sepsis among women who delivered with a physician versus delivering with a midwife in the same facility. A salient difference was the physicians were often dicking around in the morgue between deliveries, likely coming into contact with people who died of sepsis because it was a pretty common way to die pre-ABX. Natasha Kampusch. She was kidnapped in Vienna/Austria on her way to school when she was 10 years old and held captive in a secret bunker for 8 years. She managed to escape and her abuser killed himself the same day. Sadly, the public seems to hate her because she refused to talk publicly about the details of her sexual abuse. Edit: she was 10 when kidnapped and escaped after 8 years. Thanks for the correction. Poor woman can't win either way. Whenever she does step in front of a camera, people are like, does she need money or just the attention? I really wish her the best because she already got robbed of her childhood. Yeah, and I think the larger issue was that she didn't act like the public thought a victim was supposed to. She appeared too intelligent, not broken enough. She took control of her own life. And I guess her awkward way of talking seemed off-putting, a bit uncanny to some people. So, too broken then? Damned if you do. Oh, and she dared write a book and profit off her experiences. Well, duh. It was a weird thing. She seems to have pushed through it all and has success in her life. She mentioned many times that people wanted her to be a victim, and got annoyed when she didn't behave like one. She also got multiple emails from guys who wanted her to become their sex slave. Lindsay Lohan, overworked and pimped out by her parents. Was looking through the comments to see if Lindsay Lohan would be mentioned. Not to mention the disgusting behavior of the media and the public in regards to her addiction issues. That one David Letterman interview with her is almost unbearable to watch. She deserves a huge apology from the world. I hadn't seen the Letterman interview, so I looked it up just now. She handled that incredibly well. I think I would have either shut down entirely or walked off, only to later be called insane or having a tantrum. She stood her ground in an incredibly unfair and unbalanced situation while being witty and making it the least awkward for the audience as possible. Tara Reid. She did not drive drunk. She did not kill anybody with her car. She did not get arrested. She partied a lot and her boob fell out. That's it. Also, if memory serves, she was treated horribly by Carson Daly. In the same vein, Janet Jackson after that Super Bowl. My first thought was, why is she taking all the heat when JT Clearing seeing ripping off parts of her outfit? Oedipus. He didn't know it was his mother until after he had slept with her. Then he blinded himself because he was so disgusted by what he'd done. But thanks to Freud, everyone associates him with wanting to bone your mother. Not fair, I always felt bad for him. Known as one of the classic tragedies for a reason, still effective to this day. Big overarching theme of not trying to escape/outreach your fate though, that's their sin in many of these. All the child stars that went off the rails. They didn't ask for fame. Elijah Wood turned out okay cause his mom refused to let him attend Hollywood parties and hang out with adults. Back in the day, the executives would have parties just for the child stars, attended by kids, executives, and no parents. It was essentially a pedo meat market, and the Hollywood parents knew what was up. They were pimping out their kids. Elijah says his mom made sure to keep him the hell away from all that. The guy who played Kid Anakin. He was bullied so hard that it ruined all the love he had for Star Wars. Ruined all the love he had for Star Wars is nothing compared to him becoming depressed and a drug addict, getting arrested several times, and I'm pretty sure the dude tried to end his life a few times. He seems to be doing better now, but is still recovering from everything, over 2 decades later. He developed paranoid schizophrenia and has been institutionalized most of his adult life.